Another update on the Charger. It is outside in the sunlight, and the car actually does run and drive now. It only has about 15 or so miles on it since it left the shop, but that's perfectly fine. We're still working out a lot of the kinks in the car, and a lot of the stuff is still kind of only halfway put together just in order to get a quick run and drive, make sure everything is working and functional. I still need to work on the turn signals don't work. The actual running lights in the tail lights work. And also, before you throw it down in the comments, I know that these are 1972 tail lights. I saw something that was written from the original owner saying that he bought the car brand new and for some reason it had 1972 taillights. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but it's got them in it still. And the running lights work, the reverse lights don't, the turn signals don't, but that's not too big of a deal. Probably a flasher or bad ground or something. The fronts don't work either, but the headlights work perfectly fine. The high beams work, so that's all good. And it looks pretty good in the sunlight overall. And as you all know, this is original paint, so when I'm done getting it cleaned up, and I'm actually going to wash it probably today or tomorrow and get it really nice and really cleaned up and looking better, it's going to transform the car even more. And as far as how it did on the little test drive, it did great. Everything worked good. Transmission shifted good. And by the way, I did complete the console swap in the car. I still have to get the console screwed down properly and some final little adjustments, but it's really good overall. I need to do some other little stuff, like the tach doesn't work, the speedo doesn't work, and the temperature gauge works fine, the alternator gauge works, the fuel gauge works, the oil pressure gauge doesn't, but I don't remember if I hooked that up correctly or not. So there's going to be some little things to do to the car as time goes on, and that's perfectly fine. Nobody expects to get the car 100% perfect on their first run. And as you might be able to tell, there's a little bit of a cooling situation now. So we got it running, got it going, everything was going perfect. Got it about, I'd say, 4 miles or so down the road and a little bit of running, and there's coolant spraying out of the radiator cap, and it was just bad. There's coolant kind of everywhere, and it was just not a good situation. So clearly there was something wrong with the cooling system. We added more coolant to it, tried to continue on, thinking maybe there was a air bubble or something in the system. There may have been an air bubble in the system, but I took out the thermostat, and the spring in the thermostat was actually broken in half. I don't know how that happens, but the thermostat spring was broken right in half, and it was all messed up, so that explains that. Put a different thermostat that I knew worked in it, and it idled. I got it up to warm temperature. Everything was fine. No problem at all. But now the problem with the cooling system is right down here. You can see it's a little wet. Right down in here, there's a little tiny, tiny, tiny pinhole leak that when it's pressurized, it barely leaks out of. So that's obviously a problem. And everybody would probably say, oh, we'll just go get a different radiator. Well, I could do that. I could put an aluminum radiator in it. I could try to find a different one. But this radiator is as correct as I could find, and I'd like to see if I could get it repaired or even just do a temporary fix. I've been told that there's many temporary fixes. I asked some people on Facebook and they said that there's anything from bars stop leak to black pepper to egg whites to any number of kind of do-it-yourself roadside repairs that'll keep you going for a while. So I'm gonna look into that. Also, if you have any ideas, throw them down in the comments. I'm more than happy to read all the comments, and we're gonna have to look into that, as well as just cleaning up the engine bay overall, getting some of these wires tied up, checking on how to get some of those gauges working, and some other things along the way. Also, the exhaust is a little bit of a problem because I only have the lead pipes that go up to the rear axle on it, and they're just strapped up in a very temporary manner. They won't stay like that for any long period of time at all, and that's just going to be something that's going to have to get fixed within the next week or so before it gets used a whole lot more. But the brakes work great. This is a disc brake car in the front, and I believe it's 11-inch drums in the back. Everything there worked absolutely fantastic. It goes down the road pretty straight overall. The only problem I have is I got to get rid of that stupid steering wheel and see if I'm having a steering problem or if it's just this steering wheel that's messed up. When I'm driving down the road, in order to go straight, the steering wheel's got to be cockeyed like this. So that's obviously a problem. But anyways, that's really besides the point. That's not that big of a deal. I have a brand new tough wheel for this car. I just need to get the little adapter plate that goes here that makes it available for you to put the tough wheel on. And then there's plenty of little cosmetic things to do, like headliner is bad. I got some tape up there very temporarily just to block off the holes and make it look okay. And let's see what else. The dash pad is very cracked. I do have a brand new in the box dash cap, so if you want to see a video on that, I could do that, as well as a ton of other stuff. You know, this is one of those cars that there's really not a ton of big things left to do on, but there will always be something. It's never just going to leave you alone. But I'm going to do a lot of little cleanup on the car. I want to get it completely washed down, waxed, maybe do a little bit of polishing on some areas that I think is necessary. And even I want to get into the door jambs and make those look nice, because I can't tell you how many cars I've seen at car shows that everything on the outside looks just absolutely amazing. But when they open the hood or open the doors or open the trunk, it just looks terrible. So, but anyways, if you have any other ideas of things you want to see happen to this car, please drop them down in the comments. Any recommendations on things to do, any other pieces of advice that you have, and I will be having a video of the car running and driving, and probably do a test drive video with you guys very soon. But that's it for now. I'll see you guys later.